Hi everyone, welcome to Inside the Owls Burrow alongside the Hagerty family head football coach Willie Taggart. I'm Frank Fort. Coach, hopefully you enjoyed your weekend off, second bye week of the season. A little unusual to have two byes within a single season. Do you think that's been good, bad, or made not much of a difference for your football team?
Well, I think it's been good for our team. When it came, I thought it was perfect timing for our team to get ourselves together mentally and also physically. We played 6 ball games, had a bye week, and then we were able to play 3 games and then have another bye week. And so we should be fresh and ready to go.
You spent some of the time on the weekend recruiting. What was your message to guys who are either trying to reaffirm their commitment or, convince them that this is the place to be for them?
Well, for all those guys, we always tell them, it's important that they really like the place they're going to be, understand the place they're going to be. We sell them on our vision and what we want as a football team and as a program, and the type of individual that we want in our program. And we have some guys that's committed to us, and then we have some other guys that would like to get on board with us, So selling them on our vision and our goals and making sure that we pat them down and see if they fit what we're trying to do as well.
Every week in a football season is different, but was there a little extra confidence last week in practice coming off that win over UAB, who, by the way, took league leader UTSA to double overtime this past weekend?
Well, guys, I think the way they played, our guys played for 4 quarters and competed the way that we wanted to. They played winning football, and I think the confidence came from that, playing winning football against a really good football team in UAB and getting the results that we did. Our guys played with confidence in that game, and we got to continue to do that, But that all started in practice. They practiced that way that week, and you always say you practice like you play, and that's how our guys played on past Saturday.
When you look through the first 9 games, and of course the quarterback's the most important guy on any football team, N'Kosi Perry's got 20 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, which any coach would take a 4-to-1 ratio. But do you feel like as an offense as a whole, it can be even more efficient in these last few games?
Oh, absolutely. And it's going to need to be, in these next 3 ball games. We got to go out and be efficient. We got to go out and put some points on the board and continue to get better as an offensive unit. We have the talent there to do it, and we got to continue to build on what we did the last game.
One thing you usually do on Thursday's practice, you have a kind of a mini scrimmage of about 15 plays for guys who either are redshirting on the scout team or otherwise not usually dressing for games. What's the main benefit of that for them?
Well, development. You can't ever stop developing, especially your young guys. And today's football, you're going to need those guys quicker than you think. It's not like it used to be where you sit around and you can wait a long time. You got to continue to develop those guys, and then you never know when you might need them. We have 3 ball games left, and one of those guys might be needed in those ball games. So, but it's cool to watch because those guys take pride in it, and they're competing, and the other teammates are watching and celebrating with them, and so it's good to watch and it's good to see guys get better each week.
And we've seen a couple of those guys actually get to go on road trips and be a part of the travel squad.
Absolutely, we have an MVP of the scrimmage, and that guy gets to travel with the team.
Well, up next, it's the game we all point to when the schedule comes out, the short trip to Miami to face FIU in the 20th edition of the Shula Bowl. FAU leads in the series all-time 15-4, including the last 5 in a row. 58-21 last season here at home. The Panthers 4-5 overall. They were playing better until they ran into a buzzsaw last Saturday at North Texas, losing to the Mean Green 52-14. But is this a game where, however they may be playing at this point and the records kind of all go out the window?
Oh, absolutely. In these rival games, you never know. You got to come ready to play, and you look at a team like FIU, like you said, they've been playing better. They got a young football team and it's trying to learn their system, but you're seeing them get better throughout the year, and we got to go play football. It's gonna be a hard fought ball game. And those rival games, you just never know.
Watching some of their game last weekend, seems like they have a lot of RPO in their offense. So is assignment discipline and eye discipline going to be really important for your defense?
Well, absolutely. And I think when it comes to those RPO, they say it's run pass option. you can't give them a run and a pass option. You know, you got to give them at least one option and be disciplined doing that. And that's easily said than done, you know, and they have a very athletic quarterback and some fast receivers. And so we got to be disciplined on the back end, you know, and then the front end, you know, we got to do a great job of being physical up there.
A couple of your assistant coaches have worked at FIU in the past, so let's get their thoughts on the upcoming Shula Bowl.
Shula Bowl is fun. You know, being at FIU, I worked there for 3 years, and just being on both sides of the rivalry, I think it's going to be kind of cool. You know, it's a lot of aggression on both ends. You know, I'm excited to be on this side of it. I've never had an opportunity to win a Shula Bowl, so I'm here and at this moment, and I think it's going to be a pretty exciting game come game time.
You know, I think everybody in the building understands it. You know, it's very similar to what, you know, UM is going to go through with, you know, Florida State, and it's just, there's a feeling that you can't let people down. This is, you know, when you're talking about alumni, you're talking about, you know, former players, that's a responsibility, so we're going to take it that way.
Coach, you weren't exposed to this rivalry until 2020. Now, you've been a part of other rivalries, but how long did it take you to understand the importance of the Shula Bowl and kind of get emotionally invested in it?
Well, I think at my press conference, you know, I think a lot of our fans there, not necessarily reminded me, just let me know from day one about that game. But it's a great rivalry, and it's very important to our family, to our nation, and our guys understand the importance of this game and the amount of focus that we need going into this game and being able to go out and compete for 4 quarters.
Coach, all the best. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you very much, and go Owls.
Coming up, we'll dig into the thoughts of offensive tackle Brendan Bordner in this week's Pads Off. That's next on Inside the Owls Burrow. Each week here on the show, we like to burrow into the likes and dislikes off the field of an FAU player. This week, Pads Off with the focus on offensive tackle Brendan Bordner. This week, offensive lineman Brendan Bordner is with us. Grew up in Columbus, Ohio. So did you have a favorite NFL team or player growing up in Ohio?
Yeah, growing up in Columbus, Ohio, I was definitely a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And then just kind of around that time, I think Troy Polamalu was probably one of the biggest players on the team. So I was a big fan of his. Had a jersey growing up.
So now you're here in South Florida. You put out some pictures on social media this summer of fish you caught. Was that the first time you'd gone deep sea fishing, and what'd you catch?
No, I've gone out a number of times now from down in the Florida Keys, and then no, that was a good day. We caught a couple mutton snapper, so it's pretty good eats.
One thing I found out recently that I wasn't aware of, you actually started your college career as a defensive lineman and then made the switch. Was that an easy switch, or was that a struggle at first?
No, it was definitely not an easy switch. I happened to switch right before COVID, so I was trying to learn how to play offensive line for the first time, like over Zoom and like making videos and sending it to my coaches. Because I never played offensive line since I think like middle school or like elementary school, so it was a rough transition, but here today.
All right, let's get to know Brendan away from the field. If the space program was looking for volunteers to explore an alien planet, would you sign up?
Yeah. I think going to space would be great. So I'm not going to turn down a free opportunity for that for sure.
If you could have a magic homework machine that you could program for one subject, what subject would that be?
Accounting. Could not do accounting that well. It was always my least favorite in the finance courses.
What is your dream car?
It's got to be a Ford GT. I saw Ford versus Ferrari a couple summers ago, and it really put me back onto that car.
This is a tough one. Peanut butter, crunchy or smooth?
Smooth.
Nick Weber inspired question when we had him mic'd up, and you were standing very close to him when he revealed this. He asked the question, when you have chicken wings, is it ranch or blue cheese on the side?
No, it's ranch. His blue cheese is blasphemous. It's ranch.
See, he called the ranch people uncultured.
He was outgunned about 90-10. So.
If you could eliminate 1 month from the calendar, which one would you eliminate it and why?
Oh, August. Definitely August. It's That's when fall camp is every year. It's always the worst time of the year, but just got to get to September, get to the games.
What's your favorite thing to have for breakfast?
Probably fried eggs and some bacon, and then some muffins and gravy. Biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy, that'll work. Favorite junk food?
Oreos, definitely Oreos.
Double stuffed or regular?
Double stuff, always double stuff.
If you could learn to play one musical instrument, which one would it be?
Probably the guitar, piano. I know you said one. I think guitars probably be a little more useful in like a public setting, but I think piano is pretty cool too.
Now, would you be shredding metal on electric guitar or like more romantic stuff on an acoustic?
Not quite romantic, but definitely a little more acoustic stuff.
Final question, if you could travel into the past or the future, which way would you go and why?
For me, I'd probably go to the future. I think I've learned a lot about the past already. I think the future would definitely be cool. Just kind of that'd be the unknown. Wow, I mean, the past, I guess I kind of already have an idea of what occurred.
Brendan Bordner, thanks for taking the pads off and being with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Coming up next, this 6-year NFL veteran is now coaching the Owl cornerbacks. We'll talk with Brandon Harris straight ahead on Inside the Owls Burrow. Inside the Owls Burrow is brought to you in part by Baptist Health Orthopedic and Sports Medicine, the official orthopedics and sports medicine provider of FAU Athletics, and by Florida Atlantic University, MBA in Sport Management. We're back on Inside the Owls Burrow. The Harris family is synonymous with football in South Florida. Brandon Harris was a star in high school in Miami, played for the University of Miami and in the NFL. He's now the cornerbacks coach here at FAU.
Don't wait, go. Don't wait. Keep going. Keep going.
Brandon, coaching's in your family. Your dad's a very well-known South Florida high school and college coach. Your brother's in coaching. So was this always the career path you were on?
It's crazy you mention that because ever since I was born, my dad's been a high school coach. I grew up going to high school games, blowing the smoke, being the water boy at high school games from the early 90s through the 2000s. So I kind of always saw myself coaching more than playing. I never knew I would actually play football, but I knew I would actually coach one day. That's pretty cool.
You achieved what a lot of young guys who play this game wanted to achieve, and that is making it to the league. Drafted in the second round by the Texans. What was that day like for you as you flash back to it?
Oh, just thinking about draft day, just thinking about all the hours you put in, all the work, all the sacrifice, all the times growing up in high school and in college where you chose to work out as opposed to going to hang out with some friends, or you chose to run extra sprints when everybody else went home after practice. Just hearing the phone ring, sitting next to my agent, and just as soon as the phone ring, you just break down in tears, man. You can't even describe it.
You played 6 years in the league. I don't think most people appreciate it, one, how hard it is to make it to the league, and two, to stay in the league.
I agree 100%, and I took that for granted when I first got there. When you first got there, you riding in on your high horse, you're big time, you're a second round pick. Like, it's gonna be easy. I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna be better than everybody there. And then you get in that locker room and you go to your first practice and you realize, not only do the superstars, you know their names, you know they're good players, and I even applaud the guys that make the practice squad roster. Those are some competitive battles, man. They're like, every day is game day. And you go to practice knowing that every mistake can cost you your job. So it's big time competition.
Everybody who plays the game knows football's going to end at some point. But when it happens, does it still throw you for a loop?
Ooh. Being a competitor, you never want somebody to tell you you're not good enough. But at some point, that's going to happen. And at some point, when the phone stops ringing and you still want to play and you still think you got more in it, you have to know when to walk away. That's why, we always preach, enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy every practice, enjoy every game day, enjoy every pregame, because when it's over, you don't get that back. Well, no, don't look yet. We out of phase. Hey, look at the receiver. Good job making it. But this is what I'm going to tell you. Be careful. When I'm out of phase, let's sprint to catch up first, because a good throw might get you.
What do you enjoy about coaching?
I think one of the most satisfying things about being a coach is taking the time out and drilling stuff with your guys and just working it in practice, working it. And then you show up on game day and you see the stuff that you worked on. You see it show up and you see the satisfaction on your player's face. You see how happy it makes them and how proud you are to see that, man, I helped them achieve that. I helped them make that play. It was the drill we worked that that gave them the tools to make that play. I think just that satisfaction, it gives you a little bit of joy. You feel like that's as close as you can get to playing again.
Is your dad your biggest influence as a coach? Do you coach a lot like he does?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Just watching, just growing up watching my dad here, just watching him coach and sacrifice for his players, watch his dedication. And my dad is a guy that started coaching at the optimist level, made his way to high school and semi-pro. And my dad has been at every level of coaching, you know what I mean, in South Florida. I'm motivated by the things he was able to build, you know, for our family's name and legacy to just continue to carry the groundwork that he laid in front of us.
Only through the wrist. Good ball, we ain't accepting those. Yes, sir. We're gonna make them. You're a good ball player. You're gonna make them. Good ball is a compromise.
You coach a position where you have to have obvious physical skills, but then the mental part of the game, you're going to give up plays as a corner. For a lot of young guys, is that hard to accept and move on to the next play?
It's hard to accept for a lot of old guys. It's a tough position. You know, it's one of those positions where your mistakes are the highlights. You know, it's not like a lot of other positions where a lot of hidden mistakes. When we make a mistake on the back end, we pay for it. And it takes special guys to play that position. So I think that's part of, you know what I mean, guys you look for who have that confidence, who have that mental toughness, that can take tough coaching. Because you have to coach that position extremely hard. And that's the only way they'll be able to survive.
How important is it to build trust between you or any coach and your position group?
One of the first things you learn when you get into coaching, and you revert back to yourself as a player. You think about the coaches that you didn't trust, or the coaches that you didn't think cared about you. You didn't fully maximize your talent level with those coaches. Then you think about the guys that you trusted with your career, you trusted with your livelihood. And when they told you to do something, you trusted that if I do this, I'm gonna have success. So building trust is huge in coaching. You know, that's how you get the most out of your guys. And when you don't have that trust level, you may have a good player, but you'll never be able to get him to the level of player that he can be.
Coming up next, Evan Anderson has reshaped himself to become a dominant force for the Owls. His story in football in paradise is next on Inside the Owls Burrow. Welcome back to Inside the Owls Burrow. I'm Frank Fort. Following the season opener, an injury sidelined nose tackle Evan Anderson for 5 games. But he's back now and once again playing at a high level. While most players entering college football have to gain weight, the third-year starter was quite the opposite. Here's his story in Football in Paradise.
Most guys, when they come to college, they do have to gain weight, but my case was special, I say, because when I first got to college, I was 377, so I had to lose weight. It was hard, but it was really more of a mind thing than anything, because like, if your mind say you can do it, you can do it. Yes, sir. The weight program was very different versus what I experienced in high school, because in high school, our coach was big on just like lifting and staying healthy. So we didn't really do too many like running drills and stuff. Like we conditioned, but it'd be like in practice. Like our practice was just fast tempo versus college, where you have like 3 whole months of just straight running, not doing nothing but just like agility and strength. Like it's nothing but no football, just all just drills and skills. Yeah, I had to change my eating habits. Not really too much, because like I was a big dude, but I wasn't eating like junk food and trash. I used to just eat like large proportions of food. So at first I just started trying to like change my diet, but it ain't really work. So I just went back to my same diet and just changed the portions and stopped eating after 9 o'clock.
Obviously, Evan's a monster in the trenches. You know, Evan's another one who's just slowly chiseled away at his physique, and he's gotten better as the years gone on since you're through with Evan. Evan's 320 pounds, and you just see his athleticism just stands out to you now. You know, he's a big guy that can move fast. We all know Evan's strong, but now we're starting to see, okay, there's the power that we've been wanting to see from him.
Yeah, the changes I've seen in my body and the results that I have gotten so far, like I just look more muscular, like appearance-wise, and I'm still heavy. So like a lot of people think I'm like 300 pounds, 290, but I'm 320 right now, and it didn't look good. And then like performance-wise, I'm faster. I can stay on the field longer. I could just do more stuff. Like I could do the same stuff I could do, but faster, and I'm still strong. Like probably, I'm definitely stronger. So I could do the same stuff I was doing heavier at a lighter weight, just with more strength. The growth I see with myself as a player is a very like big jump, because I played O-line 3 years of high school. So when I came to college, I only had played 1 season at defensive line in high school. So like my freshman year, I was just using like my size and strength. Versus my sophomore year, I was able to use like my size and strength still, but I was able to move my feet, get around blocks, and just make more plays because I was in better shape and able to run like faster. Even if it was like 0.1 second, it's a big difference when you're on the football field. I say I really feel the same as a person because like I've been big my whole life, and then I was always big and athletic, so it wasn't like I was just a big couch potato. So a lot of stuff I'm doing, I was doing at a different weight. It's just now I could do it more times back to back, having more wins.
Yeah, when he first got here, he was like 360, and I looked at him, I was like, oh God, this is gonna be interesting. He has slimmed down a lot. I mean, he's not light by any means. He's not a small person, but he's gotten a lot quicker, a lot more elusive, and he's a lot better with his hands. So that really adds another level to his game, which maybe he's not as a big of a load, but with the elusiveness and his quickness, it still makes it tough to block him.
Yes, sir. I like the way me and Nick challenge each other in practice because we're both good players. I feel like we're both like top of the conference in our positions. So like getting out work every day, you don't have no choice but to get better because iron sharpens iron. So I like going against Nick, and he's very competitive. So even if you can do something better than him, he's going to try to prove to you and to everybody else that he can beat you at it. So like it don't matter what play it is, he's going to like go 100%. The next level of my progression, I say, is pass rush and just being more dominant. Like a lot of times I feel like I was dominant, but I was dominant like late in the game, like third quarter or fourth quarter. Boy, I need to be dominant like all 4 quarters and stay on the field on third down to get to the quarterback. So I just feel like I just gotta do the same stuff I've been doing just times 10, and I'm in better shape. So I feel like it's gonna be a very, very big difference.
There's no doubt the big guy changes the look of the Owl defense. That's our show for this week. Thanks for watching. I'm Frank Fort. We'll see you next week on Inside the Owls Burrow.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.